Ugh. Okay, let's go through the 24-man. Why do they put Kirin in this BCNM though? This is the same BCNM for 2-3, by the way. Your very first BCNM mission in Final Fantasy XI is the same this. What is this play cost? Hora's Peak, I think. I thought they would put the Ahriman and the dragon here, you know. But I think they already have that in the crossover, right? In the Fate, where you fight the dragon and the Ahriman. I don't know why they put Kirin here. That is so out of place. Yeah, so it's basically the Sky Kirin fight that will summon the 4 lords, yeah. This is the Final Fantasy XI 4 lords. This one is nice though. Am I gonna get used to seeing this immediately? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure Sandoria will be the post-finish this 24-man town. Then they will play the Sandoria music, I think. Just like Juno. Dude, whichever job... I mean, it has to be Caster already, right? Caster is getting this outfit, man. That's so bad. It's the most basic, low-level outfit, you know? At least it looks way better than FF14. In FF11, this outfit looks bad. Oh, but this one though, this one in FF11 was the best outfit. This is the Dancer Air in FF11. I think this one is aiming scouting gear, so my ninja can use this. What is the priest gear? I mean, it has to be Monk. Obviously, it has to be Monk. This one is the airship fight. One of the Chains of Prometheia mission. Very forgettable because it's not difficult. It doesn't give player trouble, so I don't really recall which mission this is. I thought they would put in Tiamat or something. I thought they would put in Oryu or Tiamat or something. I think this one is PvP, right? This one looks good though. I want the pants. I want the pants and I want the sleeves. Hopefully the glove come with the whole thing. Hopefully this part is not part of the body. Most likely it is. I gotta say, after Heavens on High, I really don't think that deep dungeon... I mean, that's another problem, right? Why didn't you tell us about the deep dungeon? Okay, look. Part 1 live letter. How come you don't just tell your player base, right? Guys, there will be deep dungeon this time, and you know what? We have something new in store for this deep dungeon. Can't wait to share with you guys in part 2. Like, you know, make people excited, right? Guys, a new deep dungeon is coming. Who cares? We all know what a deep dungeon is. We have got Heavens on High. We have got Eureka Autos. We know what a deep dungeon looks like. Yeah, blah, blah. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? And then suddenly, even the first half, nobody cared. How to play deep dungeon? What is deep dungeon? What can you expect in deep dungeon? You know what I mean? Like this first half of the deep dungeon, everybody is like, guys, they're just telling us what deep dungeon is. Who cares? You know what I mean? And then they suddenly went in depth, you know, and then suddenly they dropped the bomb.
バトル時間の長さって意味だと、まあ、ゼツの方がしんどいかなとは思いますけど、ギミックはゼツクラスのものが来るので、まあ、今回 3.1 ゼツはいわゆるゼツはないんですけど、このピルグリムトラバース全体を使ってワールドファーストレースをやっていただけるぐらいの難易度にはなってますので、すごいぜひレイドに腕に覚えありという方は
Although there's no ultimate in this patch, but this boss is gonna be as difficult as an ultimate boss. And he expects that there will be a roll race of this. Now Zeno become a voice chat. By the way, great job on those people doing the translation on this website. I think it's like a God's work. But one thing about translation when people read it is that because people don't understand live conversation, except for the translator themselves, everybody else reading this, you might miss context. You might miss the between the lines. You know, like some of the things that they say, they are directed as something, but because it's translated, written in text, you don't get it. You know what I mean? So I want to like read the translated part to see that, you know, whether they picked it up. 2.0 really don't have this much content. We've been adding a lot of content. Okay, you see, this is the part that he's not talking about life letter. He's not talking about deep dungeon. Okay, he's not talking about deep dungeon. And you know what? For those people that is reading the translation, they think that they are just talking about deep dungeon. They are not talking about deep dungeon. This is the part that they are, I wouldn't say throwing shades, but this is the part where they are like trying to like, yo, you know what, you guys, you people who never done battle content, even though if you're not a casual, it's time. It's time to try the content, you know. This is not deep dungeon specific, okay? It's been more than 10 years. Actually, how many of you have been playing Season 2.0? Thank you for sticking with us. 2.0 really didn't have that much content. We have been adding a lot of content since. If you think back, the uneven patches that added new alliance rate, for example, they were more casual leaning. On the other hand, the even patches brought savage rate and more hardcore. We have added ultimates to uneven patches, but this is just just this phrasing decides what kind of content is for specific player base. I've been reading a lot of feedback you guys gave of the live letter, so I've been doing a lot of thinking since that I myself kind of deciding already when we add new content what what kind of player is supposed to enjoy it. We have so much content in 14, but for someone who doesn't do Savage, and even patch might bring 0. When we are adding 10 sorts of new content, hardcore might enjoy 3, casuals might enjoy 3, all-rounders might be 4 to 6. It's rare to have everybody who enjoys all 10. So a design philosophy change I want to go into is show how there are different ways to enjoy same content in the casual way or more hardcore way. I still believe that both sides need their own extremes. Definitely casual or super hardcore content is needed. Deep Dungeon, for example, is a solo clear from... but that is an element basically not existent for a player that enjoy the group as content. 4. Sorry for slightly more serious question about this Deep Dungeon. Okay, he didn't talk about... Okay. So this translation is like literal. In the live letter, he was in a way talking about how these players over here should find ways to tackle all this content. Even though you are a casual and you don't want to do, say, Savage, there is always a way to try to go around them. Like, they need to find out how to tackle it before they can enjoy it. So that one is up to you to go and figure it out. But they have been adding so much content that they feel that everybody, not just hardcore, not just casual, everybody should find a way to enjoy any content. So if you don't feel like doing battle content, you should somehow find a way to do battle content. And Deep Dungeon is how they're going to introduce that. Deep Dungeon is how they're going to do low man, solo, try hard, casual, and then obviously at the end, hardcore. Right, so Deep Dungeon is what they are trying to do for this. Now, it's all cool and shit that you say all these things, but that is also gonna be all for nothing if you're only gonna put in this deep philosophy only in Deep Dungeon. I feel that if you say all this stuff, in the future, what does this mean? Are they gonna do something similar to Savage? The entire Deep Dungeon is revamped right now. Okay, now they're adding checkpoint. Now, I don't mind it as long as they don't take away the achievement for solo one-shot, right? And I think they kept it. Yeah. Wiping to the floor, it will just some reward. Okay, here we go. Are these tied to our gear or the Aether pool? Later when we go to Quantum also, I want to see whether they talk about it. I don't think they did. Now, obviously, we all assume it's going to be Aether pool. Obviously, right? It has to be, right? But the thing is, how come you don't just talk? Like, dude, that is such an important information, you know? That is such an important information. Okay, maybe they just expected, like, for us to use our common sense, right? No shit, of course it is, right? But then... you also know that they will always address stuff like this, you know, but somehow they just didn't say it. There'll be rewards for your weekly log, there'll be many rewards, some are sellable on the market, but okay, that is cool. Hopefully it doesn't drop like flies, and then they're worth nothing. Deep Dungeon has always got incentive. Like, the mounts always sell really good on the market board. So hopefully this one, they keep it intact. I know he said one of them is not from Deep Dungeon. This one, okay. Guys, this one has to be a mock station. There's no way they give this to you for free. 1000% mock station. This one right here is gonna fund Final Fantasy 17. Okay. This part, I had a different interpretation when I first read it, listened to it. I think you need 40 to enter Quantum, or 40 to make the boss hard. But the thing is, do you only need 40? Or does everybody needs 40? And if you only need 40, how the f does that work? Do we like put 10 each? Like, is it like a cipher system? You know what I mean? Do we all put 10 each? Or do all of us need to put 40? I think it's cipher system. If it's cipher system, one quest, you get 40 per person. That means one party can clear 4 times. You need 15 to be able to fight. You offer as 40. Yup. So the player can adjust the stats. So if you feel like your weakness is DPS, maybe you don't want to increase the boss HP, but instead make their light damage stronger. We thought it's boring if we just change that. So mechanics will also change. Okay, TLDR, we are getting new mechanics. They might look the same, but they might work differently. But that means that we are getting new mechanics. Which then means that if you are a hardcore player, there's absolutely no reason to do this too. I don't know how many different tiers we're gonna get. I'm gonna assume we're gonna get 3 tiers. 15, 40, and maybe 35, or 25, or 30. So 15, 30, and 40. Probably. I don't think we are getting more than 3 versions. But then again, because mechanics change, there is almost no reason for end gamers to even do the first 2. Because you want to learn the hardest mechanic. You're going to be wasting offerings, right? Or maybe you can just wipe it, don't kill it, you know? You know, like, if you do M+, there's a reason you do 11, 12, 13. But in scenario like this in Final Fantasy 14, there's no reason to do these 2 at all. You go in straight to learn the hardest boss. Maybe min-maxing rewards, I guess. Let's just say this 100% drop, this 25% drop, this 50% drop. Then technically speaking, using less offering and Gemba maybe nets you more reward. I don't know. Maybe. But in terms of progging, we are all going to be doing the hardest one, obviously. Once you clear 100, you're getting 40 offering. Please try. Just give it a try afterwards. You're not losing the offering unless you clear. I feel that you should lose. I feel that you should lose offering when you don't clear. I feel that, personally, offering should be gone if you fail. So then you go and buy, and then everybody will fight. Every static will fight against one another, and this will become 100 mil each. 100 mil an attempt. And then we send Japanese alts to buy them off mana market box so Lucrezia cannot proc. That's what we should do. I'm joking, by the way. How do you get it? You get it from clearing a quest. There's a daily or weekly quest, I think. Or maybe just clearing floor 100 each time, you can get 40. Yeah. And if you can clear with 15 and feel like you can do it, why don't you try a few more? I'm not saying which offering changes which stat just yet, but the buffs of the boss will show. And since the difficulty changes, this will impact the rewards. The higher the difficulty, the more rewards. With 40 offering, this is more difficult than... Okay, here we go. With 40 offering, this is more difficult than the 4th floor of a Savage fight. Now, I think he meant mechanic. I don't mean he meant like collectively. It's 4 men. It's not 8 men. So it can't be harder than 8 men because 8 men requires more coordination. 8 men has got more permutation. The fight length is shorter, but some of the mechanic with 40 offering will be ultimate level. Even enough. Yeah, okay, see, this is the part that everybody was away. Everybody who is still watching the live letter at this point all suddenly sprung away. For you to say that a 4-man, that we have never done a 4-man, okay, we have never have enough 4-man difficult content in this game, except for Criterion. How do you come up with the confidence to say, I think it will be harder than 4 Savage? I think it will be ultimate level. I think that, like these 3 sentences here, you know? Where did this come from? We have never gotten a content like this. Your players have never done a content like you yourself, your developers themselves haven't done a content like this. How do you come out to drop 3 lines like this? It's harder than the turn 4. There is ultimate level mechanics. And there can be a race. Like, is he overselling it? But let me tell you though, this is the same guy that said that final Coil of Bahamut Phoenix turn 3 will be done in 3 weeks. And people did it in 3 days. This is also the same guy that says that U-Corp, the first ultimate, will be really difficult, and it's true. And this is the same guy that says that DSR is the hardest ultimate he's ever done, and it's true. And this guy is also the same guy that says that FRU is as hard as DSR. So, it's Yoshi P. We don't know. Like he says stuff like this, but how does he back this up? You know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is, now, if Mr. Osma comes out to tell me this, maybe I will believe him. You know what I mean? But if it's Yoshi P saying this, because let me tell you, these are 3 very high expectations, man. These are 3 very high expectations. The fact that you're gonna make a 4-man content harder than a 4 turn of Savage, and then you, I mean, okay, look, if the length is shorter, then it will not be ultimate. But I mean, he's talking about mechanics. I think the entire thing is more between these lines, right? Savage 4th turn, because the length is shorter. And he's only mainly talking about mechanics being ultimate. I don't think this will be like a... That's why I don't think this will take 7 days to clear, right? This is most likely a 1 or 2 days. 4-man, for 4-man proc. 1 or 2 days. Including the fact that you have to do all this. I hope it's 3 days. 3 days will be a nice race there. Even enough to have a race. That's a tall order, man. You better don't disappoint. You know why? I can tell you right now, a lot of people is now awakened. And a lot of people out there are now forming statics already. A lot of people out there are putting together like world prop groups already. So if this is disappointing, then we will look back at these 3 lines and wonder why Yoshi P is smoking. I'm sure he probably got an okay to say from Mr. Osma. What the f do you mean he got the okay? Dude, he's the f***ing producer and director. What do you mean he's got the okay? He can say whatever he wants.
16 times the detail.
Finally, man. Why can't this be talked about earlier? Finally, we're gonna get 2 deep Criterion Dungeon. Criterion Dungeon should also have some of these changes. I feel they have to change the Criterion Dungeon Savage. Criterion Dungeon Savage is bad. It's not a good design. So hopefully they do some revamp like Deep Dungeon. Maybe they can add checkpoints for Criterion Dungeon so that people who don't really care about, say, you know, the Savage title can just, you know, queue in each of the bosses and queue each of the bosses. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. The trash mob is garbage. I feel like if you want the players to do the trash mob, maybe do it in like a settings where if you go through the whole thing, you get the title kind of thing. But let's just say if casual just want to do the bosses, and then they just want to kill the bosses, and then, you know, consider themselves finish the Criterion bosses, then maybe they should just also do the same thing like Like this. Let those bosses individually just be queuable. Those trash mob in Criterion were not fun. They are an annoyance more than a challenge. Of course, I understand where the feedback is why now too slow. Yeah, no, that's true. Good feedback. Actually good feedback. Why do you wait 10 years for this? Why do you wait 10 years to start? Why didn't you do that in Shadowbringer and Endwalker? I know the saying better late than never, right? But too late, you know? The weekly reward allow have a better overview on how many rewards you're getting for X amount of time spent. The solo ranking, yeah, okay, yeah. So this one is more important. Yeah, there's a lot of deep dungeon enthusiasts that do deep dungeon just for this. So I'm glad that with all these changes that they do, they didn't take this away. Okay, so he didn't really talk about the Aether pool, yeah, whether it's needed. I mean, we just gotta assume that it is. This deep dungeon looks good. I like Heavens on High. Heavens on High is also very well done. The thing about Heavens on High is that Heavens on High is just like you're in this one block. I feel like the palace actually feel like you're exploring the whole palace, you know? Palace of the Dead is the worst. Palace of the Dead was so boring. I feel like this one might add a lot more colors to it, you know? Why don't you allow Scholar to customize your fairy into this also? It's in the game, man. Why don't you let your Scholar transmog this? Okay, Wak Lemat. Wak Lemat is getting a Mahjong appearance. That means that Wak Lemat will never die anymore in the MSQ. She's now immortalized. I do think that they can retire her though. Yo, this chat bubble is really well done though. This part is a bummer. If chat bubbles can be used in combat, it would have been so good. You're doing a mechanic, you're doing a mechanic, boop, somebody pop out a chat bubble, you know a mechanic is coming, you know? But I think they thought about it, yeah. It's smart for them to think about it. Nothing else, right? Okay, yeah, that's it, yeah. Leave Wak Lemao behind like how they abandoned Lise. I miss Lise, man.